Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Mike Brancatelli here, host of the Micadelic podcast, and you're watching The System is Down, AntiNews Live, the best anti-news news show in the history of anti-news news shows. Because honestly, what else are you going to do these days? You're going to turn on cable news, listen to a bunch of old gray-haired dinosaurs that talk like robots to try and make you brain dead and fall asleep? Hi, welcome to the news. Today, we're going to lie to you 24/7. Exactly. So, cut your cable, cut your cord, take your television, throw it out the window, go streaking down your neighborhood block and say, Anti-News Live is on. Stay tuned.
City sidewalks, busy sidewalks, meetings, nope, dressed in holiday style. Does it fit? Back me up here. In the air there's a feeling of Christmas.
I don't think it's going to work for me to sing along with you with the delay.
Children laughing, people passing, meeting smile after smile. And on every street corner, you hear. Can you hear this? Nope, you can't.
Sounds like you're peeing.
Fireball.
Oh.
Are you going to back me up here or not?
Fireball.
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 It's Christmas time in the city.
City.
Drink-a-link.
Ding-a-lings.
Hear me drink.
Hear him.
Soon
Drink.
it will be anti-news. Anyway, what's going on, everybody?
I like it.
Thanks.
That was beautiful.
I'm feeling that Christmas spirit now that we're getting close to the good old jolly times. And I don't normally feel the Christmas spirit, but I'm feeling a little bit of it. I got all my Christmas shopping done yesterday. I don't mean I finished it yesterday. I mean I started it and concluded it yesterday, except for the things except for the things that I had to have for the Christmas parties over the weekend. Everything, all the main stuff, bought it all yesterday. And I actually figured out the best way to go Christmas shopping and stay in the holiday spirit. Do you know what it is?
Do tell.
The best way to go Christmas shopping, if you aren't a big fan of Christmas shopping, or even if you loathe Christmas shopping, is to bring along a nice bottle of liquor. And you take 2 shots in the car before you go. I'm not advocating for drinking and driving. Not that I think it should be illegal,
Obviously.
but I'm not advocating for drinking and driving.
Just do shots in a car.
Right. Yes,
We're not pushing drinking.
Well, you park the car, you do 2 shots, maybe 3, maybe 4, then you go in to the store and do your shopping, and for as long as it takes for that alcohol to wear off, or when you start to feel it wear off, when things start to get aggravating, then you'll know it's time to move on to the next store, and then you just wrap it up. Whatever you have, then you're done, and you move on to the next store. So when you're a little inebriated, you will enjoy the holiday spirit more. The people won't aggravate you as much. You'll be dancing through the store, singing Silver Bells, and as it starts to wear off, you'll know, hey, I gotta go check out. It'll take so freaking long to check out that you will be completely sober by the time you get back into the car. Then you drive to the next location and repeat. And the holiday spirit lives on.
Were you dancing through the store singing Silver Bells?
Of course I was, yeah. And I was like running where you do the run and jump up on the cart and you just glide across the store.
Like in typical Christmas movie fashion?
Of course, yeah. That's how you do it.
Speaking of Christmas movie fashion, I did a job at a Best Buy today, and they had their TV display like right next to the door. I'll give you one guess to tell me what Christmas movie they were playing.
Was it Elf?
On that TV. No.
Was it Rudolph?
Better.
Please tell me it was Rudolph.
No. Better.
Better.
Jingle All the Way.
Oh, nice.
I could not believe what I was seeing in my eyeballs. I was like, you get me, Best Buy, you get me.
I freaking love that movie, and I haven't seen it in so long. I just bought it on Black Friday and plan to watch it very soon here. But yeah, I was recently, we do a mentoring club for foster kids, my wife and I, as you know. And I was buying my kid some gifts, and he wanted a Buzz Lightyear, like a legit Buzz Lightyear with all the working buttons and everything. And I found him one, a perfect one, and it was substantially discounted from Disney's normal price of like $50. It was down to like $25 on Amazon. It had all the bells and whistles, but I got it all the way to the checkout, and I was super excited about it. I was ready to go. I was going to have it ready for him, and then I realized that it probably won't arrive till December 26th. I was like, what the hell is this? Jingle All the Way? Like, I found the one thing that I've been looking for, the thing that this kid really wanted, and it's not going to be here on time because they're all sold out. Like, literally, 2018's Jingle All the Way.
That is ridiculous.
Yep.
But
so I bought it, and
did
he'll
you
have to
fight
wait.
Sinbad for it?
I did not.
Oh, that's not nearly as good. So, was that your weekend?
Not entirely. Before we get into that, we should probably intro this a little bit. Welcome to the AntiNews. All the intro words that we use. Drinking the drinks, smoking the smokes, talking about the headlines, barely reading the stories before we report on them, and you finding out, as we do in real time, even though this isn't live, in real time, pretending it's live, what is going on in the world today. All the most important things like politics and
those
more
things.
Interesting things. All the most outrageous things, and we do so in our own dark comedic fashion. But yeah, you know what the majority of my weekend was. It was spent with you for at least one of the 3 days.
That's the most important part of the 3 days.
Of course.
Was spending with me. My favorite part of the time we spent together was when your wife happened to, I think it was your wife that brought it up, compared us to the hecklers from the Muppets.
Yes.
Statler and Waldorf, which I never knew their names until just now. I just looked it up.
The definitely 100% gay couple, elderly couple from the Muppets, whether they admit it or not. I mean, they go to the theater and heckle and be bitchy from the balcony together and just joke back and forth amongst themselves. Come on.
Yeah, it's fair enough. Maybe we're not the gay couple because we're brothers, but
sure.
Other than that, I'd say it was a pretty suiting fit.
I'd say so.
You get us together and we heckle and we mostly just entertain ourselves at other people's expense.
Really explain the story, and I'll have to bring it next week to the show to play some of the videos. I've got some of the videos that Kayla took on her phone while we were doing.
I have to read the book.
Yeah, exactly. So since we were children, we lads, we've always been read this exact same Bible story book about the Christmas story. So it's very, very old, much older than we are. Probably came out in like the 80s. It was gifted to us when we were children. It might have came out before the 80s. But it's definitely very...
I'm going to say we came out in the 80s, so that wouldn't be much, much older than us.
It's very dated and very sad. And our dad used to read it every single year. And as of last year, I took up the mantle of reading it and did it in the way that you would expect me to. And the kids found it to be hilarious. So this year, the kids were like, they came up to me and they're like, "Are you going to read the Christmas story this year?" And I was like, "Nah, I was planning on it." But then they went up to you and they're like, "Are you going to read it?" And I was like, "Hey, I was actually going to read it." You guys are so quick to turn on the, the drop of a hat if somebody disagrees with you. Will you be our new leader? Yes, but...
well, he said no, but will you?
So we instead read it together, which was even better. So it was basically the AntiNews version of the Christmas story where we poked fun and broke down the dated little book. Not necessarily the story itself, but the way it's presented is just atrocious, and everybody looks like they're wearing dresses and very, very fashionable, but lots of fun stuff there.
I mean, the angels are wearing red dresses with like stars all over them,
with golden stars,
like ankle length dresses.
Yeah, and they've got like
I've never seen
like an
angel portrayed in a red. Yeah. Never seen an angel portrayed in a red dress before.
Yeah, it's true. Red seems like a strange color to choose for angels, but what do I know about color coordination of angels?
Maybe
Anyway,
white was hard to print back then.
yeah, yeah. Do you have anything else on our? So if you guys didn't gather, this weekend was our family get together for our side of our families for Christmas, and it was just
Or
just a
holidays
bundle
if you
of
don't
laughs
believe in Christmas.
for Chrismonica Quans, as I like to call it.
Yes.
Yeah, all
And
inclusive.
yeah, most of the time those get-togethers, like I said, amount to me and you just completely entertaining ourselves at
And everybody else
our
being
family's
really annoyed by
expense.
it.
And or laughing or yelling at us to shut up or just ignoring us, but it doesn't usually stop us. Mostly
Nah.
it's us torturing our sister most of
It's
the time
true.
because I mean she just leaves the door wide open, and if you're listening, I don't care. You leave the door wide
Close
open
that
and we
door.
enjoy
Close that door.
it. I think you enjoy it too.
That's
You
right.
secretly enjoy it.
Yeah.
So
Nothing
then
says I
after
love
that,
you like heckling. After that, go on.
exactly. Immediately after our family
No. Before
Christmas
that,
Kwanzaa,
I have a big question
okay.
for you. There
But
seems to be something missing from your room decor this eve.
there is.
Yes.
I know it's out in Mandy's vehicle, and she just pulled
Come
up,
on.
and because I called her right before I got on, I was like, "Where is said item?" And she's like, "It's in the van or the truck or whatever, the SUV." She called it a van, but I don't know what that says about us, but
Uh-huh.
it's in our vehicle. And I was like, "Well, you need to bring it in," and it's not here yet, so she must have
Well,
ignored
we gotta
that.
at least
So
announce it. We gotta get the
I'll bring
story.
it. We'll take a break, and I'll get it and bring it back. So we do a gift exchange, like a white elephant gift exchange, where we basically compete for the most ridiculous gift for this gift exchange. And it's you draw names in the hat, and you draw a number, and the first person goes and picks a gift, and the next person can either steal the gift or pick another gift. And more of it's less of the stealing and the actual gift opening and stuff. It's more of who has the most ridiculous item, because nobody really wants any of the items that we
Right.
get. But this year, I think our sister won two of the gifts. One that I got was a amazingly creepy bust head of Jesus
Yeah, and
with
it's like
blood dripping down his face.
porcelain, and it's like this
It's like
awkward
copper colored.
beige color, but except for the red blood dripping down his face, and he has no
and he
pupils.
has no pupils, so he's just dead-eyed Jesus with like a half like smile, like
Mm-hmm.
staring up towards heaven, like I'm
Just
dying,
really awkward.
with dead eyes and blood dripping down his face. And that is going to be my new room decor.
I
gotta find a good
proposed-
spot for.
I propose that Craig put it in the snake cage back there, but we're debating if that's across the line or
Second.
not.
Yeah, right. So
You look back
How
and you
about
see
this? We'll
Jesus
take a
with
vote.
this like amused, awkward expression and dead eyes being strangled by your snake in the background.
So here's my proposal. If I get enough people saying they want Jesus in the snake cage, I'll put Jesus in the snake cage.
So you are
So-
such a freaking whore that you will go hardcore sacrilegious if the people want it, if they vote enough. You're like, I believe in God, but if you guys all say that you want me to not believe in God, I'm an atheist all the way. You know, they keep saying that they want you to get fired from the show, but you're not listening to that. So
I have not left the show yet. But if they want Jesus in the snake cage, then
Jesus in the Snake
Then
Cage
wh-
sounds like a metal band.
that would be awesome. We should name a band Jesus in the Snake Cage.
I'm not gonna do that.
Oh, okay. So then one of the other items that Jessica got was an odd hand-carved coconut
It was beautiful.
in the shape of a horribly shaped monkey face. So just a real coconut carved into a
Basically
monkey
just
face.
smoothed on one side and then had a couple notches jaggedly cut out of it to be semi
Slightly
a monkey face. That's not a racial slur
And
either.
they cut off the top, and it was a bowl to start with. Well, then they didn't think the monkey chalice head was a little odd, I guess. So they decided to take another top of a different, smaller coconut and put a slit in it and fashion it into the top and make it like a second hand piggy bank or a monkey head bank or something. So what did it say on the bottom?
On the bottom, it
Refresh
said,
my memory with the bottom.
let me see if I can find my pictures here. I won't be able to pull it up for real, but you might be able to see it from my phone. But on the bottom, it said, one second. Let me pull up a picture of the monkey first. So if you're watching, you can see the monkey head here. That's what it looks like. Basically, like the worst child drawing of a face, just 2 dots for eyes and then a line for a mouth and a chopped out nose. Down at the bottom of it, down here, it says, have fun. That's it. Just have fun, which is like the creepiest cryptic thing that you could possibly put. I don't know. But it also had, so you can see on the top of it, it's not a great picture. The top of it is like, here. This is like the lid here, if you can see this. And it's like not even the same material. It's like they took something else and just sat it on top because the bowl wasn't really working. So they're like, oh, it's a bank now. So it ends up looking kind of like a Jewish monkey with a coconut yarmulke on its head. But they stuck a sticker on top of it that says, also a coin bank, take me home. Also
like,
a coin bank.
Initially, what was it? That's what I'd like to know.
What was plan A? And then on the very bottom of it, and this is all wood burned into it, on the bottom it says, to order, call, should I give the number? Would that be giving too much away? To order, call 860 or 800. It's hard to tell. It's either a 6 or a 0 or an 8 or something. But 860, it looks like, 410-9980. I tried calling and nobody answered. I think it went straight to dial tone.
I wanted to order one.
Yeah.
So they're mass producing these monkey heads that also can be used as banks.
Yes. In addition to whatever else. But yeah, my question is, who got the Jewish coconut monkey head that looks like a monkey made it, and they're like, man, I really need another one of these. How could you possibly order one? Oh, here it is on the bottom, wood burned into the bottom. To order.
The great part
Have
thing
fun.
is she found it at Goodwill, which means somebody took this into possession to begin with, in order to then secondhand send it to Goodwill. So somebody had firsthand had this monkey.
That or
thing.
somebody had a shop where they were trying to sell stuff like this, and they're like, yeah, that's not working. Let's just give it away to Goodwill because nobody wants this in any capacity whatsoever.
Right.
And you know that this thing probably came in, and the Goodwill employees were like, that's not going anywhere. What the hell is this? Like 24 hours later, our sister walks in. She's like, coconut monkey head. Perfect.
And Jesus.
And Jesus. She
Imagine
took those. She took those up to the cash register with the bust of Jesus and a creepy Jewish monkey coconut. Have fun.
You know, they probably have a box in the back that's the re-gift box, that because they know people around Christmas will buy these ridiculous things. They just put all the dumb stuff like that in the box, and then right around Christmas they're like, all right, get the coconut monkey out. That's going to sell.
I think we need to change our sign-off for this. We've been doing question everything and staying comfortable like I do on the main show. We need a different sign-off, and let's just make it have fun.
Not creepy.
All right, we'll see you guys later. Have fun. And I'll bring up the coconut monkey picture each time we do.
Besides all that and eating mass quantities of pie and food and carbs, carb loading for sure. Immediately following that, because we ate lunch at 2:30.
What kind of pie did we have,
then
Craig?
we had smoked bacon bourbon pecan pie.
And with that said, we had our first caller in a while on Wednesday, just right after last week's episode. So we're going to see what that guy has to say and see if it I assume it's a guy, if what they have to say has anything to do with what we're talking about here. 1 second.
Yeah, you said to call into the show. I'm a first-time listener, and I caught the episode before you got into anything except about a bacon pecan pie. So I'm just calling to say I don't have much high hopes, but I'm eager to listen to the rest of the episode. I got here through Lions of Liberty, and before that, Dave Smith's podcast. So I've kind of trailed my way into your podcast. So I'm excited to hear about your podcast. And if you play me, I might call back and tell you what I think after I've actually heard a full episode. So thanks for doing what you do, and keep going at it.
All right. Thank you, mystery caller, who didn't feel the need to leave a last name. Craig, you're muted, but thank you for calling in.
I haven't said anything.
Oh, your mouth was moving.
No, I was sitting here with a smile on my face.
Oh, okay. Just a creepy dad smile.
Yes, exactly. My favorite part of that was the fact that all he got through was the bacon pecan pie, and he's like, nope, I don't really feel this podcast whatsoever, but I guess I'll keep listening.
Well, the question is, did he mean I wasn't feeling it, like he wasn't feeling that pie sounded particularly good, or
he said he didn't have high hopes.
Well,
I'm guessing it was for the podcast.
Didn't have high hopes for the pie or the podcast?
I'm not sure, but
that's all right. Fine, man.
So last week I explained to you how delicious this pie was. You have now had the opportunity to try
eaten your
my pie.
Mm-hmm.
Did you eat all of my pie?
I ate all of the piece that I took, yes.
What did you think of my pie?
First off, stop saying that. But I thought it was pretty good. It was strange. It was unique. It was something that I would definitely go for at like a bacon festival and be happy to find something unique at a bacon festival. It was a little bit runny. I would like to give it another go when you perfect the recipe and firm it up a little bit, if you know what I mean. But I've been to several.
In my defense, I made 2 of those pies. The one on the top turned out perfect consistency.
And you ate that one and brought us the crap one.
Well, I took it to where I just went like eeny, meeny, miny, mo, and I took that one
Did
to
you
work.
really go eeny, meeny, miny, mo to decide? Is that how you determine things in your life?
That is how I do. But the thing is, do you go with the one you land on, or do you go with the other one? Is it this one's not it, or is this one's it?
Well, if he hollers, let him go. But are you letting it go as in leaving it there to not be eaten yet, or are you letting it go with you? Never mind. This is. I mean, if he didn't have high hopes for the show, I don't think we're proving him wrong at this point. But we're 20 minutes in, still haven't even touched a news story. But there's just so much that happened this weekend.
There is. So I did drop the first pie into the grill. I'm not going to go into details there. I started making pie and dumped it in the grill. So that pie probably would have turned out perfect. You got second and third pie, or you got the third pie.
third tier pie.
So I did want to really quick mention after stuffing our faces, the rest of my Saturday, which was my 15-year high school reunion, which a whopping like 18 people showed up to, which, I mean, it was fun. It was all good fun. I didn't hang out with any of those people in high school, but I mean, It's not high school anymore, so they're all pretty cool.
Did you hang out with anybody in your class in high school? Because I hang out with very few.
There was like a few, and most of them were potheads who might possibly still be potheads. I'm not sure. But none of them were there. But it seemed like some of the bigger assholes in school were some of the nicer people at the reunions, probably because they're like, oh, this guy's going to kick my ass.
It's probably
I'm
more
fat
like,
now.
I think that, I mean, was anybody particularly mean? I mean, aside from drunk.
At the reunion or in school?
At the reunion.
No, everybody was cool. That's
here's my theory.
Everybody was pretty cool.
Yeah, I went to my 10-year reunion a couple years ago, and I was like, I mean, you don't see these people for 10 years, and you still have them painted into the same box, but the thing that we always forget about is we've all discovered alcohol since then, and that's a grand unifier, and if we all get together and drink, then fun times can be had by all.
That's not necessarily true, as case in point, one of the people at the reunion. I mean, it was funny for me, but I think his closer friends were humiliated. One of the guys was there, and he was drunk when he walked in the door. You could tell. He was like staggering around, and he was just like staring off into space, and it was like, dude, this guy's wasted already.
Off to a good start.
And I went to the bathroom. I hadn't talked to him yet, and this had been like an hour or so in. I come out of the bathroom, and he's about to head in, and he's like, who are you? And I've had lockers next to this kid all through high school. Granted, I don't look like anything I did in high school. Yeah. And no, number two, I was definitely not one of the cool kids in school. I was a band geek, and I'm okay with that. And I'd say I've improved somewhat since then. But
Hopefully.
especially in like shape, I'm like one of few that are in better shape now than I was in high school.
Right.
Most get like bald and fat and stuff.
The
Not,
one good
not
thing
all of
the
them,
the
but
military has done.
exactly. And so he's like, "Who are you?" And I told him, "I'm Craig." And he's like, "You're Craig?" I was like, "Yeah, I think so." He's like, "No way." I'm like, Pretty sure I am." He's like,
Then you took out your
I
driver's license and
never
proved it.
He's like, I thought about it. He's like, I never would have expected Craig Smolt to turn into you. Good job. Good job, he said. I'm just like,
Wow.
I don't know
You've
what
known
that
me
means.
for 30 seconds, bro. Like, I could
I
be
don't
just as
know
big
if
of a
that,
dick as you are.
yeah, well, I think he was saying like looks and
Right.
wise and stuff. Like I'm not a dork anymore, I guess is what he's got. It's
Sure.
like, do I take that as an insult from high school or do I take that as a compliment now? How do I take this? I don't care. This is hilarious.
Yep.
And so I was just like, thank you. I'm not really sure what to take of that, but thanks.
Don't
And
know
he's
where
just
this
like,
conversation could possibly go from there.
yeah, yeah. I mean, he went at it for a little bit, and then I went back in to my wife, and he kind of follows me, and he's like, "That's your wife?" I was like, "Yep." He's like, He's like, "How did you end up with that for your wife? She's hot." I was like, "Okay."
By not
And
showing up to parties already drunk is a good start.
exactly. Especially your 15-year reunion where nobody has seen you in 15 years.
Right.
It's like that's not a good impression to portray.
Right.
And so people will start talking and stuff, and they're like, "Yeah, he has had a bit to drink." It's like, "Yeah, it's obvious." But he keeps going, and all of a sudden he tells her again she's hot, and she's like, "Thanks." And then people are talking, and he's just like, "I just want to touch everyone. Can I touch you?" He says that to my wife, and
You may
she's
not.
like, no.
Hashtag
And,
me neither.
yeah, exactly. And one of the guys that's good friends with him still, who was there, he's just like, dude, this is not that kind of party. And then he goes on to explain
I
about
don't know if any
how
party's
he
that
could
kind
get
of
us
party, buddy.
It's like, this isn't the strip club, dude. He goes on to explain how he could get us acid if we wanted acid. And it's just like,
I believe you.
okay. And then his friends are like, it's time to go home. And so they immediately got him out of there.
No,
It's
they really
probably
just
like,
went.
this guy's either-
They really just took him out of there and said that they were taking him home, but they took him to
No,
go get acid.
no, they took him home because they came back.
Ah.
And they're like, dude, he wanted to go to the bar. There's no way that was
Oh
happening.
my
I was
gosh.
like, he would have got his ass kicked if he would have went
Oh,
to
yeah.
the bar for sure. If he would have, and they're like, no, that's not what we were worried about. We were worried about him getting our asses kicked. I was like, yeah, that's fair enough too.
Yeah. Yep.
So
Let him deal with it.
That was basically my reunion, and then I talked to some people and everything. I mean, everyone else was cool. I wasn't offended by the guy. If he would have like attempted to touch my wife, I might have like ended up at least laying him down on the floor gently. But
Sure. Yeah.
otherwise it was fun. All in good fun.
Well, to keep Mystery Caller happy and make sure that this is a wildly entertaining show, we better move on. Mystery Caller, please feel free to call in again. And to other people, if you would like to be a Mystery Caller, you don't have to give your name, but you're welcome to. But the number is down at the bottom of the screen if you're watching this on the YouTubes. 309-716-3818. You can call in. We'll play your message if you want. If you request not to be played and just want to share something with us, let us know that as well. But you can call in there and leave us a message and not have this isn't live, so you don't have to worry about getting thrown on to the live broadcast or anything. You'll just be talking to a voice message, I guarantee it. Again, that number is 309-716-3818. Also, I got some holiday cheer that boosted my spirits today from one of our lovely listeners, Justin Zielinski, who sent me a nice little cash donation and Christmas gift of a pleasant amount. So, Justin, I want to give you a shout out and say thank you very much. You are a gentleman and a scholar, and I love you with all my heart. In other news, what's here? In other news, we should probably just kick into the actual show.
Let's do it.
So that was a really long pre-show. And we'll see how the rest of this goes. But stick around. More to come momentarily.
All I ask is, if we have to give these bastards our lives, we give them hell before we do!
The tragedy of our day is the climate of fear in which we live.
Talking about the Salomon Brothers building collapsing.
I would ask the congressman to withdraw that comment and tell us that he didn't really mean that.
I don't know what I said.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
The Bible commands that certain people be put to death.
Thieves or possesses weapons of mass destruction. 9/11 attacks were carried out by Al Qaeda.
Handle the truth!
I remember that which meant most. We are still here!
We have to say yes to social justice.
No. It's a big club, and you ain't in it.
Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. I also wanted to. I remember the other thing that I was gonna say before we went into that little intro ditty there. I saw a movie over the weekend, which did not make it into my Downey Awards, which will be the episode coming out next Monday. Did not make it into the Downey Awards because I had not seen it before we recorded, but it definitely makes it into this year's list, and it makes it to number 1. So I'm gonna give a big ol' shout out to the new Spider-Man cartoon, Into the Spider-Verse, because that thing frickin' blew my mind. It was fantastic, unique, very original, something that I have not seen in a movie in a very long time. So that's my brief synopsis, which was no synopsis, my brief review, and I will be doing an episode on Remzo Martinez. Our good friend Remzo Martinez has a podcast again called The Remzo Martinez Experience, and episode 2, I believe, is going to be coming out this week or early next week. I'm not sure which one, but we're going to be recording that tomorrow, and I'm going to be going on there to chat about that movie with him, so check that out. Just look up The Remzo Martinez Experience, because I don't know where you find it, but yeah, good stuff. And Remzo, stoked that you're doing stuff again with that. Anyway, Craig, do you got some good holiday cheer in the news for us to start this out?
You know that I do.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, and it's sticking to true 2018 fashion. I mean, we can't finish the year out without going out with a bang.
A bang?
So,
a literal bang? Like, are we talking
no.
North Korea, or are we talking Stormy Daniels? What kind of bang are we talking here?
Neither. I'm just talking typical 2018 bullshitty, outragey type stuff.
Who's it now?
I mean, Christmas is the target this year. Everything Christmas related.
Christmas is the target and the trigger, if you know what I mean.
Yes. We had Rudolph. We had
Baby It's Cold Outside.
The song Baby It's Cold Outside. Was there anything else?
There was the Peanuts Thanksgiving one.
Right, but specifically Christmas. Okay, it's moved to a new level.
What do we got this week?
Next target, Santa Claus.
Oh, snap. I think I had that one too, actually.
People are calling for Father Christmas to be renamed Person Christmas.
Oh, and Father Time
is
Z or Zer time, right?
Yes.
Mother Nature
right.
is still Mother Nature, because that's fine.
So basically what we're saying is all characters or people or fictional people, we can't put titles on them anymore or labels on them anymore. They can't be black or white or male or female, because that just wouldn't relate to. If you had a white man Christmas guy, that wouldn't relate to the women in the world like it has for the last how many hundreds of years.
Yep. And Mrs. Claus, is she Person Claus too? Do we have Person Claus and Person Claus?
if you had Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus, then you're assuming that they're a straight couple, and then that would leave homosexuals out.
And
if
she's not getting paid as much as he is too. So
exactly, and she stays at home and watches the little Clausettes, and that's just stereotypical.
You mean the elves, which is racist against
slavery.
Midgets?
Yes,
and
racist.
Indicative of slavery. Yeah, I mean, there's so many issues.
Right, but we're going with his gender.
By that I mean
issue.
it's very problematic.
Oh my god. So this article is on Unilad, which is unilad.co.uk, which makes it great because it's another Great Britain article.
Right.
So we all know about you guys over there, you people.
You people.
It starts out, it says, Father Christmas is a man synonymous with the globally celebrated festive holiday. The man at the forefront of our childhood memories, causing children up and down the country sleepless nights and around the festive period. The man who could possibly be no more. But may we have to start referring to our beloved Father Christmas by a whole new name? 2017 has seen the rise of the term gender fluid. When did this come out? Because that says 2017. I don't know. This popped up on my feed, so I'm going to keep reading it. I'll just change that.
2017 was the rise of gender fluid. That doesn't mean that people were outraged about Father Christmas until now.
Right. So 2017, we'll just say 2018 has seen the rise even more so of the term gender fluid. Right. We can do that. A concept some portions of society have continued to be challenged by, but that has seen great strides in its social and cultural understanding. The idea a person doesn't necessarily identify as having a fixed gender regardless of their biological makeup. But then again, there is the fact that many people do identify as having a fixed gender. Yep. One in particular is the fictional character of Santa Claus.
How do you know?
So it says...
You're assuming.
That's just... No, what are we going to just rewrite all the history books of Santa
also
Claus?
Jesus was a black woman.
Oh, really?
Which makes his persecution much worse.
Yeah, no kidding. Problems occasionally arise in society when accepted norms are challenged and people feel their way of life is being threatened. Unfortunately, gender fluidity falls into the threatening, quote unquote, it has threatening category for a lot of people. Turns out there are some who see the idea of Father Christmas being renamed to something more gender fluid like Person Christmas. Does that not just sound retarded?
I mean, it's just...
I can't say that, but...
Sounds gay. It just has such a cheery ring to it. Person Christmas. I mean, couldn't they come up with something else like...
Human Christmas.
I don't even know. It doesn't sound like you're talking about a person. Sounds like you're talking about like an event. Let's go over to the Person Christmas as opposed to the Animal Christmas.
So, give it a name like the Christmas, I don't know, the Christmas spirit. I don't know. Who knows? For a lot of people, the first question which springs to mind is, are we really living in a world where we're unable to refer to a saint, and more importantly, a much-loved traditional festive figure as a male for fear of offending a portion of society? It turns out some people think it's a good idea. After all, this year has seen companies like John Lewis get rid of boys and girls labels in their children's clothes. That's not the same thing, though. You can get rid of boys and girls labels in children's clothes.
That's not getting rid of boys and girls.
Yeah, that's
not telling people that they aren't what they are, or that they aren't even what they identify as. The problem with this is that you're saying that women should be allowed to identify as a man should be allowed to identify as a woman. Sure, whatever, take it. But you can't say that a man isn't allowed to identify as a man. Is everybody forced into the opposite gender now, or a neutral gender? There are no genders, or are they a million genders? I'm confused.
Well, that's what I've predicted. In the near future, it's going to be basically a genderless society. That's what we're leading up to, is there's not going to be male and female. More than likely, they're just going to whack all our genitalia off, and we're going to just be like
all our
Ken
genitalia
dolls.
Off?
Yes. We're just going to be... Sorry.
That doesn't sound too bad. Thank you.
We're going to be like
How much
basically Ken dolls.
Right.
And they're just going to put virtual reality sensors on our brain so we can feel sexual pleasure to whatever we want. And then we're just going to artificially reproduce in test tubes and stuff like that. That's where this is all hitting. And that's just how it's going to be.
Yep.
There's no doubt. That's just fact.
I gotta wonder, is there actually... I mean, they act like it's a giant group of people that has this outrage and is posting all these things, but I have more faith in humanity than to believe that. I gotta believe that this is like a person that's trolling people, like BuzzFeed or Huffington Post or whatever. They're just trolling people, and like, people are outraged because men are men. What? It's like, no, I have yet to meet a person that agrees with any of the things that that we have talked about on here.
Right. I have a hard time believing that even transgender people would agree with this.
Right.
Like, be like, what Santa Claus as a being? What? That's just dumb.
Yeah, I mean...
So it goes on to...
Is it confirmed that Santa Claus is derived from St. Nicholas, which was an actual person? Was he an actual person or not? Do we know? Do we know?
I don't know.
If we know that, then we know that he was what he was, and you can't just go back and change that.
We don't know.
Yes.
There's no history that shows he identified as
I guarantee you he did, because gender identification wasn't even a thing back then. I mean, it was, because when he came out of his mother, he was automatically identified as a boy because of that big old Santa dick. Which is a sentence I never thought I'd utter, but here we are.
It goes on to say, while many adults would sit and argue ferociously about having a gender-fluid figurehead for the Christmas holiday, the more important question to be asking is why we're using children. In particular, childhood figures like Father Christmas as a battleground for concept adults are still debating. Just to clarify, we're talking about Father Christmas, the figure who grew out of traditions surrounding the historical figure St. Nicholas. Many people today think Father Christmas... Can't we just say Santa Claus? Stop saying Father Christmas. Father Christmas is
Senor
just
Kringle.
the British name. Oh, okay, that's the British name for Santa Claus. So this is actually talking about Father Christmas. It must be slightly different. It says many people today think Father Christmas is just the British name for Santa Claus, and while it's true Father Christmas and Santa are considered virtually the same person today, Father Christmas is actually a completely different person with a much longer history. I'm not going to go into all that. So I did see, originally I saw an article that they were saying the same thing about Santa Claus, and that's what made me Google it. It was just like a picture post on Facebook. So I Googled it, and this was the first article that popped up. But yeah, this isn't just stuck, like, this isn't just focused on the UK. This is actually happening here too. People are, well, at least articles are screaming the same thing, that Santa Claus should be more androgynous or genderless or whatever you want to call it. And it's just absolute bizarre, the level we've gotten to. Just even from 2017 to 2018, the leaps and bounds we've gotten into utter insanity. It just, my mind is blown.
Well, when you take like insanity and make it normal, then everybody's suddenly insane because they don't agree with insanity.
Well, and we've always said, like, where is the line? If you start with one, I mean, you got to keep going. The snowball just keeps rolling. If you give people the legal right to decide, I want to be this today, well, then it goes into ageism, or deciding to pick your own age, which we covered that, and deciding, well, if this is offensive, are these songs not offensive? Well, yes, right. Then by those standards, those songs would be offensive. Well, if that's this, then what about Santa Claus? Should we really actually...
I mean, what about Frosty the Snowman? I mean, is he a man? Is he a woman? Is he something in between? I mean, he's got those gigantic balls and all, but I feel like that's perpetuating toxic masculinity, if anything, if he is a man, just throwing his balls around.
I mean, should he really be wearing a hat? What if he doesn't want to wear his stovepipe hat? What if he wants to wear a miniskirt? I mean, can we really stop him from wearing a miniskirt and stilettos?
Right. I mean, all of this stuff is just like such hypothetical bullshit. Like, what if this made-up figure... What if
Santa was a real person?
Right. What if this thing that we concocted isn't what we concocted it to be? It is, though. It just is. You can't just... you can change it if you want to, but why? Right. Who cares?
Yeah, let's... Make an alternate dimension Santa Claus that's a female figure, like the alternate dimension action, like Marvel characters, right. Where there's like Lady a female Thor. Spider-Man. Yes, exactly. I mean, you can make whatever dimension of whatever made up character you want. That's the great thing about fictional characters. But don't go back and erase. You want to go back and erase the original Spider-Man comic book just because you didn't agree with the way he wore his costume. Well, he never should have wore latex and spandex at the same time with that macrame. I don't know. I got nothing.
Did you hear the latest discovery about Hitler, where they found out that he was actually he was a transgender. He started as a female and transitioned into a man, so he was technically a female, and he was a hardcore feminist, and that's why he was such a Nazi.
Okay.
Anyway, moving on to the next. This kind of plays into that as far as why we're talking about gender, why we're talking about sexuality amongst children's shit. Did you hear about the 10-year-old boy who danced on stage for money at an adult gay bar in New York?
No.
Yep.
What? Why?
Quote, drag kid Desmond is amazing. I guess that's his name. Quote, drag kid Desmond is amazing. You would think that they'd have more creativity than that if they're living this lifestyle at age 10. But he delivered a headlining performance at a sleazy Brooklyn gay bar on December 1st, where the 10-year-old boy danced on stage in a crop top and full face of makeup as a throng of adult men in the audience showered him in dollar bills. The event called Club... did you have something to say about that?
Yes. I don't care the sexuality of the bar or the people at the bar or anything about that.
If it was women, gross. If it was children, gross.
Men, straight, gay, transgendered, cisgender.
If there was a pack of dogs making it rain on this 10-year-old boy, gross.
First of all,
straight heterosexual white dogs.
10-year-olds not allowed in a bar. First of all. Second of all, no reason at all should a 10-year-old be up on stage dancing at any bar. For any reason, unless it's like a charity event where we're going to bring on the kids and they're going to do their ballet recital.
No, because they're not allowed in the bar. They're not allowed in the bar. So
it depends on did it say what time it was at? Because some bars have like a time restriction where they let all ages in, but that's usually only when there's an all ages event going on, not just a.
You're really stretching to give the benefit of the doubt here.
I guess maybe the dancing on the stage was the all ages event.
It was clearly an all ages event. The event called Club Whoa. Again, come on. Aren't you gays supposed to be creative? Was hosted at Brooklyn Gay Bar $3 Bill and was promoted on social media. Desmond also celebrated the performance on his own Instagram page, holy shit, which has 105,000 followers. Adults who wished to watch a half-naked child dance in a bar could buy tickets on an Eventbrite page in which the venue described itself as queer-owned and operated. Okay, this is a quote. Queer-owned and operated, we foster a safe space for love. We respect all human persons as long as those human persons are also respectful to the ones around them. Photos, there's no end quote there. Thank you for that. This comes from discussionist.com too, so you know it's legit. Photos of the event show Desmond in a blonde wig, makeup, and a crop top collecting monetary tips from adult men in the audience, like a stripper. As other half-naked adult drag queens, some in panties and fishnet stockings, stood on stage nearby. YouTuber Yosef Ozia of Ozia Media called attention to the disturbing performance in a video posted Friday afternoon. A day after the performance, one reviewer on Yelp wrote, quote, I left after seeing a child dance on stage for money at nighttime. So it was nighttime. This was Saturday night, and I have been feeling disturbed ever since. You absolutely should. You absolutely should. I think I've seen stuff posted about this kid before, and I think he does like makeup tutorials and stuff, and he's like a 10-year-old drag, I suppose you'd call it a drag princess. But, yeah, I think he does makeup tutorials and stuff, but this is just disgustingly appalling. And when you have, like, I don't know. everybody agrees. Nobody disagrees with this, except for disgusting people. Like, I've seen this reported on many different platforms from people on both sides of the fence, thankfully. And I would hope that nobody is in support of this boy chasing his dream of being a stripper when he becomes a full woman at age 11. I don't know. I mean, how does this happen? It was sold on Eventbrite tickets.
Right, so it's not just the venue itself that clearly botched up everything by allowing this to happen at the venue, but somebody felt it was necessary to publicly sell tickets to this event through a third party. This third party decided, you know what, that's a good idea. We'll sell your tickets to this little boy striptease, basically.
Right. It was a big enough
stripping, but
yeah, it was a big enough event that he had to have been dancing suggestively and sexually at least, and he's very awkwardly clothed. He's in a gay bar dancing for money, and I mean, there had to have been enough people involved in this it had to have been a big enough event for it to have tickets sold on Eventbrite. So that means there was a really good handful of people that planned this out, set it up, and made it happen. That is horrifying.
Yeah. So people always talk about how strippers, the concept of stripping is objectifying women, obviously.
Uh-huh.
So now it's fully and completely acceptable to objectify young children.
Yep.
Specifically because the kid is transgender. That's the only reason he's on the stage in any way, shape, or form.
If it was a 10-year-old girl, do you think they'd have the same... it would be as applauded by the people that were there?
I think it'd probably be appalling. More appalling, even.
I think it would be equally appalling.
It would be...
It's a 10-year-old kid being exploited.
More people would be appalled by it.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
At the venue would probably be like, oh, why is there a little girl dancing on the stage at the bar in crop top?
And if it wasn't a drag night and there were full-grown men dancing, stripping, and a little boy walked up there in a Speedo, and that's all, people would be horrified. But for some reason, we're going to applaud them for their bravery, I assume. Some are, because this happened.
Solely because he or she's transgender.
Ironically,
the reason this was allowed.
I wonder if Stormy Daniels weighed in on this at all, based on our story last year about the baby stripper laws. Which those were... That name was an exaggeration of the actual story, but I mean, it kind of it boils down to stuff like this. Like, where's the line?
Yeah. Sure, and that's the thing. The line is being blurred to the point where there's going to be no line. And it's not a typical 10-year-old dance recital where all the parents are proudly clapping and applauding their kids. No, these people were hooting and hollering, I'm guessing, just like a normal dance event at a bar. It wasn't like, oh, look at the cute kid up there. That is so cool that this kid's doing. No, it was objectifying a 10-year-old boy.
Yep. Yeah, and there are pictures if you want to find out exactly, if it looks innocent or if it looks horrifying. It looks horrifying. You can look at the pictures. I'm not going to post them because I want no part of that. But,
With the risk of sounding gross, I don't mean to come off gross when I say this. I kind of want to watch the video, mainly just to gauge the audience reaction, to actually get the context of what was going on there.
Right.
Because the audience reaction is going to tell you a lot about what was actually going on.
Let's see. I think there was a video when I looked it up earlier. I didn't watch the video. There wasn't a video on that page. There was just pictures. Let's see if I can pull up the video and we'll just play the audio and see if that is indicative of exactly how the audience response was. Let's see here. YouTube, of course. There's a bunch of YouTube videos, but whether or not it'll actually play it, we'll find out. Dead air on an audio podcast is always fun for the viewers.
You can edit that out.
If you would like to join the Downers Club, just go over to patreon.com/the system is down, and you'll get the bonus audio content that is released multiple times every single week, including The after party for this show, where we'll be talking about even more ridiculous things if we can find more. But there's that. Yeah, it looks like these videos are just people talking about it. So I'm not going to dig at this point to find it. I don't want to have that in my browser history either. I mean, I've already looked up 10-year-old boy dances in strip club. Not really happy about that one.
Yeah,
anyway.
Yeah. Good luck with your search history when the CIA comes and confiscates your computer.
Exactly. So do you got a good segue into the next article?
Segue?
Yep.
Well, speaking of young children, I guess, this has nothing to do with it, but it does involve a child. Our very favorite, still running politician, Hillary Clinton, wrote a letter consoling
Speaking
an 8-year-old girl.
children being abused and prostituted and sold
Speaking
for
of
money.
Children being used,
Hillary Clinton.
Hillary Clinton wrote a letter consoling an 8-year-old girl who ran for class president against a boy and lost. You can probably know where this is going. Hillary Clinton probably.
I know exactly how you feel. We're being held down by the man and by the boy.
She's relating herself in her botched candidacy president with this 8-year-old girl who ran for who runs for class president at 8 in the first place.
The difference.
And
the little girl did not spend $600,000 before she lost.
Didn't she? But the thing is this: at 8 years old, do boys and girls really vote on class president based on boy or girl? I mean,
they vote based on popularity.
Oh, that girl's not gonna. Either popularity. At most, the boys all voted for the boy because they're like, ew, girls are gross.
Exactly. Of course, Hillary Clinton would.
That's misogynistic.
Yeah, Hillary Clinton would say that that's why Donald Trump won too, because all the men voted for Donald Trump.
Says Hillary Clinton surprised an 8-year-old girl with a letter earlier this month after the elementary school student lost an election for class president to a boy by a single vote. First of all, how did Hillary Clinton find out about this?
Right.
I mean, who was trolling all
It has to be in the story
Instagram
how she found out. Keep reading.
It says Martha Kennedy Morales, a third grader at a private Quaker school in College Park, Maryland, decided to run for the top office as part of a lesson on government.
Top office of all the options for class president. I mean, there's not class treasurer, class secretary of defense.
As a lesson on government in which election for class president and Congress were held. Who teaches this to 8-year-olds? My 8-year-old has no idea what a Congress even is.
I mean, good if they are. They need to know.
Right.
But let's not cry about... let's not play the victim because you're a woman. Or not even a woman. Because you're a little girl.
Yeah, exactly. So it goes on to say, Morales told the paper she lost to a popular 4th grade boy and was affirmed as vice president.
What paper's reporting on this?
Here's Clinton. This was in Fox News, but that was a report in the Washington Post.
Oh, cool.
So both very legitimate sources. So here's Hillary Clinton in her letter. It says, as I know too well, it's not easy when you stand up and put yourself in contention for a role that's only been sought by boys. I don't think that's true in 2018 for class president.
Right.
You know why I know that? Because in 2003, my high school class president was a female.
Right. Did she look into the history of the...
was a female.
Did she look into the history of the presidents at that school?
Right. Did she look into the history of school politics in general? Because generally, from my high school experience, the only people that really gave two shits were females and ran for it.
So they ended up being class president.
Guys were...
My class president is a female.
Right. And I found out because of the reunion that I explained in detail, I am so glad I didn't run for school student council, because 15 years later, you still have responsibilities of making these functions.
Good job. Since you're popular, you have to pay for it 20, 50, 60, 70 years later, depending on how long we all live.
Every half a decade to a decade for the rest of your life, you will be paying for it.
Yep.
So it says, Clinton went on to praise the student by relating her own experience losing to now President Donald Trump in the 2016 presidential election. The Democratic nominee won the popular vote by a few million, but lost in the Electoral College, because that's how the Electoral College was formed. I am sorry that's how it's worked for...
Did Hillary Clinton bring that up? I mean, did she talk about the Electoral College in how this girl lost? All the representatives that voted against her.
So she goes on to say, the most important thing is that you fought for what you believe in, and that is what is always worth it. Morales is now working on writing the former Secretary of State a thank you note, according to the Post.
Wow.
The end.
News, ladies and gentlemen, news.
Hillary Clinton's still being related. You know what she's doing? She's
trying to pretend like she's a human.
She's grooming potential voters for in 10 years from now. They will vote for her when she runs again in 2028 or whatever the next election around that is.
Speaking of disgustingly grooming potential voters, did you hear about Denver?
Not recently, no.
Denver legalizes public defecation to shield illegals from deportation.
I think either that's old or another city did the same thing about a month or so ago.
Okay.
Because I read this a while ago.
This was June 13th, so it's about half a week ago.
Old, but we haven't. June 13th? It's not a half a week ago.
Holy crap. Yeah, that's wrong. No.
So this is old, but still, we can talk about it.
Well, we're going to have to look up an actual story then. Because, yes, I heard about something recent. It was not Denver.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, if you'd like to support the Downers Club, just kidding.
You're just going to plug it every single time. So, and that must have been really old news. It must be circulating because here's an article that from last December that says, no, Denver didn't legalize public urination. So Denver must be having issues with this constantly.
Huh.
Let me see if there's any new news. Los Angeles doubled its homeless budget. Nope, that's not it. That was the most recent article after Googling public defecation.
All right, hold on.
I think we're just gonna have to move on.
Hold on. This was posted November 29th in 2018. This Colorado city has a poop problem, but how bad is it and what is being done? All right. It's Denver. The city of Denver has dealt with at least 289 cases of public urination or defecation so far in 2018. So, sure, it may have started a long time ago, but it's still going on. You'll come outside, this is a quote, you'll come outside in the morning and someone will have just used the restroom. You're using that term loosely. It's not a restroom.
No,
it's a street.
It's
a sidewalk. Just use the restroom all over the wall. How do you use a restroom all over the wall?
How do you, peed on it?
It's using a wall.
I mean, you could pee on the wall, but how do you go number 2 on the wall unless you have, explosive diarrhea?
We're going to find out, or you just let it trail down like those sticky things that you throw at the wall and just slinks down.
Yeah.
That's
what it's like. Do a wall squat, do the wall sit, in gym class.
Yep.
And then lean as close to the wall as possible and just let it slide.
Rose, who lives in the Capitol Hill neighborhood of the city, says he's Rose, says he sees the issue when he walks into his alley to get to his garage. Quote, it's pretty offensive. I'd rather not see it, he said. Yep.
Oh, really?
KM...
one man's opinion.
Right. KMGH contacted several residents in the Capitol Hill neighborhood through the Nextdoor app to get their thoughts. Quote, this is a huge issue in the area, end quote, one resident said. This problem has increased dramatically. Another added that there was, quote, just poop everywhere. Denver police kept track of how many citations they give out for certain municipal code violations from January to November. That number came in at 289 for public urination or defecation. A police spokesperson added that usually officers officers give warnings, sometimes multiple, before issuing citations. There were another 136 complaints through 311 for human waste in the public right-of-way. Quote, any waste in the public right-of-way is essentially a public health issue because the waste can go into our waterways. People can be exposed to it. No shit. I mean, lots of shit.
Essentially, or it's definitely...
Right. That's 100% why people have a problem with this. That is the problem. Thank you for clarifying. And we don't want that, says Jeremy Garland of the Denver Department of Public Health and Environment. Garland says,
I like how he has to specify that we don't want that.
Right.
We do not approve of
We're
this.
We're not big fans of shit. Garland says multiple city departments work together to try to address the issue. Police issue citations. DPHE deals with cleanup through 311 at the Department of Public Works. Can be called for larger cleanups. Larger cleanups. Is that like where they're collectively all pooping in the same area, or is that where somebody just takes such a massive shit that it cannot be dealt with by one person alone? Quote, we don't want this happening in our streets. I don't think anyone wants that, Garland said about the issue. The city says there are enough public restrooms in Denver and encouraged all people to use the city's mobile restrooms and or shelters if needed. It's, quote, it's pretty gross, but the bottom line is when people don't have a bathroom to use, this is the bathroom. Whatever happened to Starbucks? I mean, I know they're not big fans of people going in without paying, but they laxed up their laws and they basically said you could come in and sleep on their floors if you wanted to. So I would say that's a pretty... And there's one of those on every street corner in Denver. You know there is. So...
Or go to any park. They usually have a public restroom.
Or gas station.
Walk into gas station, Walmart.
Yes. I feel like there's ample toilets around.
And well, then they said there's mobile bathrooms, like porta-johns. They're like, yeah, we'd rather them use the mobile toilets or whatever. It's just like there's got to be stuff around. It's got to be plenty of area to do this, or at least have common decency to go into the alley or shit behind the building or something.
Well, that might be what it is.
Sidewalk. That's just rude. No, because they're talking like it's like right out on the apartment.
Right.
Like when he walked out his front door, somebody just went to the bathroom on the wall. So I don't think he's going out the alley door.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's pretty gross. Pretty gross, Denver. Get your shit together and clean it up.
I did see that they. I mean, maybe it's conjecture or whatever. There was an article apparently back in June of how they are legalizing it because of like immigration issues and stuff like that. That might just be anti-immigration people taking things to the extreme, but I'm not seeing anything as of recent that's talking about that.
All right.
I know San Francisco last year. San Francisco early this year or last year was having the same issue. It was getting like horrible. Like it was ranked like the nastiest town because people were just defecating everywhere. All the homeless.
It's funny because it's also ranked the gayest town. It should be like the cleanest, most pristine town you've ever seen. They've got to be outraged. Right.
It's all the clean and tidy gay people being outraged by how disgusting it is.
Yep. Anyway, on that note, we've gone on for quite a bit, and we'll do a couple more stories here on the main, but let's jump into our shout-outs to all the patrons and people who are already in the Downers Club. Again, if I haven't said it enough, go to patreon.com/thesystemsdown if you would like to hear more. We do this weekly. We do the after party weekly as well, and we do other bonus content every single week. So this is the shout-out to everybody who's already in there, who's already making a difference in the world, changing the world, making it a better place by being members of the Downers Club. Craig, what?
Yes, I had one more thing.
What?
While you play this, I'm going to go find Jesus.
Okay. You should also go poop in the street while you're at it.
I might do that too.
All right, you find Jesus and be back in 2 minutes. Go.
All right.
Bye.
Hey, this is Brett Glyer from Donor-C, and you are watching AntiNews Live.
Hi, this is Ole Damgood from Light on Conspiracies, and you are watching AntiNews Live.
Hey, this is Brian McWilliams from Electric Liberty Land on the Lines of Liberty. You're watching Anti-News Live along with my lazy dog Hank here, who diarrheaed all over that couch. That's why that blanket's there. Enjoy!
And now it's time for that part of the show where we give a big thank you and a shout out to all the beautiful men and women who support this show with their hard-earned and much appreciated dollars. We could not do this without you. If you would like to increase the value of your life and get your name on this list, just go to patreon.com/The System Is Down and join the Downers Club.
I'm done, I'm pissed, and I'm not putting up with it anymore. You Satanists want to sacrifice the West. You want to kill the beautiful goddess that is the West. You people are enemies, and we're going to get your asses, and we know what you're up to, and we're coming for you. So I've had enough of these people. Okay, so I've been containing this for the last week. That's why I've been in here sweating and getting pissed, because I can't handle it anymore.
Hey, this is Toby from Bad Christian, and you're watching Anti-News. Hey, this is Toby from Bad Christian, and you're watching Anti-News.
Hello, everyone. I'm Lucas from the 29 Toes podcast, and you're watching the Anti-News Live. Fun fact, do you know anything that you drink out of this mug tastes 50% better? You should give it a try. Enjoy the show.
All right. And Craig, oops. Killed that music too soon. Craig just got back. Good timing, Craig. As you put in your earbuds while I'm talking. Good timing. Oh, there it is. I feel like I need to crank up the music for that. Beautiful. Beautiful. Yep.
Look at those eyes.
Look at them.
We need a pedestal for Jesus.
I also just realized that after we did our episodes for next week, the Downey Awards, I did not plug back in the thing that will make it so people can actually hear the music. So I'm going to have some work to do on this episode. Cleaning some stuff up in the aftermath. But that's fine. That's fine. I do this all for y'all. And if you want to see the beautiful bust of Jesus, and that means
can you see him?
His face. His face. It's not like a busty Jesus or anything. But bring that up one more time. Let's see it one more time.
Can you not see it right here?
No, I can't see it right there. You gotta move it like over towards your face because we're split screen here.
How about now?
You can just see his nose and eyes.
Dang it. How high of a pedestal does Jesus have to be on?
Oh, wow. That's quite a sacrilegious statement there.
Is that better? I'm going to have to get a shelf or something to put Jesus on if I don't put him in the snake cage.
Yeah. It's all good.
All right. Here's Jesus.
There you go. That looks mildly amused. But,
yes.
He was
so
pretty
how about
stoked.
Now? Can you see him in the shot, or
I can just see like his left eye. That's it. we'll figure it out later.
He's gonna have to like pretty much be blocking my face. Here, can you see Jesus now?
You need to have him like right next to your face, or back in the background. You could put him like on top the snake cage. You could put a board across
there you
it.
Go. There's a cage on it. Hang on.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. So to those listening to the audio version of this, you are getting nothing out of this if you're an audio listener only. But you should go watch the video so you can see Jesus. You can see all the names of the Downers Club members. You can see all our beautiful faces and expressions because, I like to think that body language and facial expression it says a lot. It has a lot to do with why I insist on doing all my interviews as video, and I insist on doing video as much as we possibly can, because things can be easily taken out of context if it's just text, or even if it's just an audio. So please come watch the show over on the evil YouTube, and again, call into the show at 309-716-3818. But we got to do a couple more stories here, and keeping in the spirit of the season. I mean, we've only had like one that's actually about Christmas, maybe two, and then we've had like child strippers and terrible things, shit in the streets. But Keeping in the spirit of Christmas, sad Santas confront empty malls. Quote, "Do I have something in my beard?" That's the headline from the Wall Street Journal.
I can't even like deduct what that would possibly be about based on that headline.
Here's the subhead. Vacant storefronts don't herald jolly holidays for professional Kris Kringles. Quote, I have a book for when it's really, really slow. So, mall Santas are having a hard time because there's no such thing as an Amazon Santa. All right, let me read a little bit of this. This is in Auburn, Maine. And again, this comes from the Wall Street Journal, so you know it's legit. Rick Moody says he arrives early for his shifts as Santa at the Auburn Mall. Puts on his red suit, settles into his oversized chair in center court, and starts, quote, working the crowd. That is a creepy way to put that, but okay.
Yeah, that's odd.
I mean, the crowd is like 3 to 7-year-olds. In a mall where Santa's stage is ringed by vacant storefronts, sometimes there is no crowd. Luckily, there's no clause against reading when he doesn't see much foot traffic. Good one. Quote, I have a book when it's really, really slow. The 61-year-old mall Santa says, pointing to a Western paperback titled, quote, Straight Outta Tombstone. What? Tucked behind Christmassy coloring books.
Reading.
Right? Tucked behind Christmassy coloring books, he keeps in a red basket by his throne. And when children aren't around, quote, you wave the customers, it's getting late. You wave to customer service people, he says of mall employees in a nearby booth. Every December, shopping malls bring in jolly white-whiskered Santas to pose for photos with children. Imposters, I would say, but fine. The slump at many shopping malls means more downtime for Santas and for the photographers and elves staffing the operations. Quote, the guys have basically become a decoration, says Robert Turner, a working Kris Kringle and board member of the International Brotherhood of Real Bearded Santas. That's a thing. The International Brotherhood of Real Bearded Santas.
Oh, man. I have a story. Remind me I have a story about this.
All right. A professional organization that now goes by the abbreviation IBRBS. Yeah, as you would, because that's really long even for an abbreviation. To be inclusive of Mrs. Claus. What? Okay. One Santa, Mr. Turner knows past time in a slow Louisiana mall by bringing wood to carve. He actually whittled. They need to have him on like a rocking chair with a shotgun next to him, just whittling. Like, what do you want, kids? Did anybody have any problem with the fact that the Santa Claus was sitting there with a knife whittling? Like, it seems like that would not be allowed on the job, but what do I know?
You know what else I can do with this knife? I can whittle wood. What would you bring the knife for originally, Santa?
He was whittling...
You know what the real issue is?
He was whittling coconuts to look like monkeys. They can also be used as coin banks. Go ahead.
Oh, of course. The real issue is this. It's not the slump in mall sales, because people still will travel for Christmas to malls and stuff. The problem is...
the lack in Christmas spirit.
It's an all-male Santa. Everybody is so outraged about the all-male Santa that they're like, no, kids.
Bring in Mrs. Claus so they feel comfortable, because your child will be raped if it's Santa.
That would be misogynistic if you had the male figurehead.
No, I mean just a female Santa. She needs to be getting paid just as much or more.
Right. So the issue is all the children are so upset that it's not father person or person.
Father person.
Got that wrong.
That's who I'm putting on all my Christmas cards. Father person. It's just gonna be this androgynous, like, no color, no facial expression, no hair, no nothing. It has no defining qualities about it. It's father person.
So the children just don't want to sit on a male Santa anymore. They want a person Christmas. I almost said it again. So that just goes to show that we need an androgynous Santa Claus.
Yep. Many mall Santas are sledding off to more exciting venues, Mr. Turner says. More corporate...
Love the puns.
Exactly. They just can't help themselves. The Wall Street Journal is so hip. From corporate events to house parties, the bigoted ones, the white supremacists are having Santa over for house parties, obviously, and the male CEOs who do not deserve to be where they are in business. Quote, "We as a Christmas community are trying to help these guys adapt," he says. Some malls, particularly new or recently renovated ones in great locations where incomes are high, still draw more than enough people to keep Santa booked. Yet many older malls are sputtering in the face of changing consumer shopping habits and a glut of shopping centers. Mall vacancies rose to their highest level in 7 years in the third quarter. This goes on way, way, way too long. That's like half the story, and all the story... Actually, that's like a third of the story, it looks like. But all the story is malls.
Santa's
Malls
bored.
are a problem. What?
No, it's about... The whole story is Santa's bored. That is
Exactly.
literally the entire story.
That sounds like a job that most people would kill for. Like being bored at work and getting to sit there and whittle books. Whittle books? Read books. Whatever Santas do. Whittle books and stab children. I don't freaking know. But it sounds... I mean, they're still paid. They're still getting paid to come there, so what's the big deal? You're bored. You have a job, and your job is the easiest job in the world. The hardest part of your job is when a kid sits on your lap and you have to ask him one question, and that's it.
It's not like he's getting paid by the child. It's not like oh, times are tough this year. I only
Paid
have
by
5
commission.
kids yeah.
Santa's on commission. You didn't meet your quota of children lap sittings this year.
Sorry,
so.
we're going to dock your pay, and you don't actually get paid until you've seen at least 100 children. Like that's your minimum line. So
Yep.
At 99 and below, you get 0 Santa dollars. So
Also, I would say
just
that
insane to me.
I mean, if you are a member of the what's it called? What's the name of it? Let me find it again.
Downers Club?
No, if you're a member of the International Brotherhood of Real Bearded Santas, first off, brotherhood means that it's a fraternity, which means that you're being discriminatory, which means you're not going to get into the good classes in Harvard or whatever the hell's going to happen in 2019.
Roles at Harvard. Was it Harvard?
I think so.
Stanford or something. Yeah,
it was Harvard.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to have leadership roles there. So good luck.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I have a professor from Harvard coming on the show on this Wednesday that I'm interviewing.
Make sure you ask.
Stay tuned. I might ask him about it, even though it has absolutely nothing to do with what we're actually talking about. But that's all I'm going to say about that. But yeah, I would say if you are a member of IBRS whatever, if you're a member of this frat, you should be dyeing your beard white, because there's a guy here that looks like a homeless man in a Santa costume. He's got like the gray, like the dark gray all throughout, and then he's got like white streaks in his beard. He basically looks like Howie Snowden, but just a little bit longer of a beard. It's like, yes, you have a real beard, good job, but you're still not pulling off the Santa look. So figure it out.
It's time, before we move on, it's time for my story. So, speaking of the Brotherhood of the Real Bearded Santas, I used to work for Dish Network, and when I first started there, I trained with a guy, and we were just the best pair and the worst pair when it comes to work, because we bullshitted all the time, and we got a lot done, but man, people would have hated being around us. But we pull up to this house.
Kind of sounds like this show.
Yeah, pretty much. We pull up to this house one day, and in the garage, there was a car. I'm pretty sure it was a red car, mind you. But there was a car, and the license plate said Santa on it. And we're like, that's kind of odd. And we joked around. He's like, I want you to go to the door. I'm going to sit in the car, because I know if we knock on the door and the old man the guy opens the door, and if he has a big white beard, I'm not going to be able to contain my shit. And I'm just like, no way, dude, you're coming up with me. And so we both walked up to the door, we rang the doorbell, and lo and behold, this fucker with a white beard, and I'm
a midget in a green costume answers the door and says, "I think you're here to see my dad."
White white beard. I want to say he was in a red sweater, but maybe that's just my mind, like adding things to the story. But anyway, regardless, he had a white beard, and I had to turn away because I could hardly contain the laughter. I'm just like, you've got to be freaking kidding me. So we proceed in a professional manner. We proceed to conduct the service call or whatever it was we were doing. Yeah, something like that. Not his cable, his satellite dish. We weren't a cable company. Anyway, so he is finishing the training pitch or whatever he had to do, explaining his system and stuff. I glanced down to the stack of magazines on their coffee table, and the address label on it did not have the man's name. It was mailed to Fantasy Incorporated.
Fantasy?
So
how do you spell
Fantasy, like Santa and fantasy combined.
Wow.
Santa CSY.
I'd call it infanticide.
So that pulls up even more weird things than just having a guy who dresses as Santa and likes Santa. It sounds to me like he has some Santa fetish porn going on or something like that. Yeah, I mean, if this is like if this is just like an organization of Santa Clauses, living out, fulfilling people's dreams, that is a bad choice of name. Come on. And so I was just like,
your deepest, darkest, twisted fantasy.
It was the weirdest moment.
I just looked up Fantasy.com and looked on Google for Fantasy Inc. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Really?
No. I haven't found anything yet.
It led me... Well, that brings me back to your story of how Santa puts a good book in his children's coloring book to mask it. Imagine if he dropped that coloring book and Santa was looking at porn while he was sitting there.
Is this the guy?
How awkward would that be?
Is this? That's too bright.
I can't see that from...
Hold
that's
on.
too bright. You'll have to send it to me.
How about that? Is that him?
Looks a lot like him.
It's Fantasy.com.
Looks like Santa. It looks like Santa. I can't distinguish him.
Right.
I mean, they all look.
He looks a lot. I mean, it looks a lot like him. White beard, rosy red cheeks, red suit.
He had a butt, like a little.
It checks out.
Yeah, it's got to be him. That's the guy.
Anyway, I've got a lot more to discuss in the after party, but do you got one more for this main episode? If not, I have a good. I have an actual happy one. If we want to end on a happy note for Christmas.
Oh, we can do that. I can just take these into the after party. One comment I wanted to make. It's just a headline. I'm not going to get into it because the headline says it all. But Donald Trump is expected to sign the order creating the U.S. Space Command in coming days, officials say. So expect it. The Space Command is coming. Somehow, at some point,
is it called Space Command now instead of Space Force?
That's what I was going to say. We missed the part. They just slyly introduced a new name.
Right.
That's what was going on during all the Kavanaugh issues, is they were secretly changing the name from Space Force to Space Command and expected us to not be
Space Command sounds a little bit less sci-fi, a little bit less cheesy, but still, Space Command sounds like something from Star Trek still, but less...
No, what it is, it's from Toy Story.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's Star Command.
Star Command. Donald Trump of Space Command to the rescue. All right.
Space Command, come in. Why don't they hear me?
All right, let's just end on a happy note because we got to leave the people, in jolly moods before they go over to the after party and find out about all the other atrocities that are happening in the world. But this comes from Fox News. Fox 60, or not Fox News, it's fox61.com, so it's a local station. But doctors baffled after Texas girl's inoperable brain tumor disappears. This is not the type of news we typically report on, but I feel like maybe now and then we should throw it in so there's a little bit of hope for humanity. Even just like people who are judging humanity based on us as we are terrible people. Maybe if we throw a little bit of joy in there, they'll feel like there's hope for the world. Okay, so Hays County, Texas. An 11-year-old Texas girl diagnosed with an inoperable brain tumor appears to be cured. Appears to been cured? Well, Fox, come on.
It's local. It's local Fox. You got to give them some credit.
Still.
I mean, they're not the levels of real Fox yet. They're a local Fox.
Yeah, they don't have quite the level of typos as actual Fox News does yet. They're local. But you would think if it's like a local station, they have much less to report on, so they have more time to actually fact check and look at their information. Their editor can do his job. Yeah. And doctors have no explanation. According to KVUE, so you know it's legit. In June, doctors told Roxley Doss she had an inoperable brain tumor called diffuse intrinsic pontine glioma, or DIPG, KVUE reports. Yeah, I'm not buying it. According to doctors, the disease is very rare and causes a decreased ability to swallow, sometimes vision loss, decreased ability to talk, eventually difficulty with breathing, said Dr. Virginia Herod with Dell. They let a woman work on her? But Dr. Virginia Herod, she must be Asian, with Dell Children's Medical Center. The little girl went through weeks of radiation, and all her parents, Jean and Scott Doss, could do is pray for a miracle. Quote, when I first saw Roxley's MRI scan, it was actually unbelievable, said Dr. Herod. The tumor is undetectable on the MRI scan, which is really unusual. Doctors at Dell Children's Texas Children's at Dana-Farber, at Johns Hopkins, and MD Anderson all agreed it was...
Holy shit.
All agreed it was DIPG, says Scott Doss. And now with no trace of the tumor, the family is thanking God. Every day we still say it, says Gina. It's kind of our family thing that God healed Roxy. The family tells KVUE they will continue to watch her closely and continue to undergo treatments as a precaution. The family has created a GoFundMe page to raise money for their hospital bills. Quote, we didn't know how long she would be healthy, and look at her. She's just doing awesome, said Scott. And that's it. That's it for our teary story of the day. Now let's bring it back down a notch and say, there's a part of me that's like, cool. They prayed for something and it happened. That's great. There's still a part of me that deep down that believes that that's a thing that happens. There's another part of me that's like, if you think that God answers prayers and God answers prayers, he's only answering it if it's good, then that means the kid down the street who died of a brain tumor, God didn't like that kid and ignored that kid. So, I don't know.
Part of God's plan.
Sure. It's just a little strange to be like, we prayed to God and it happened. But what about the kid who was miraculously cured and they didn't pray? I'm not saying that it's not a God thing. Like, I'm not saying that God didn't choose for that to happen. I'm saying that, I don't know, I have questions personally, and this is totally not news typical. This is more of a Monday morning typical thing, but my question is, does petitioning prayers to God and begging God for a thing enough change his mind to do what you want?
Did you ever stop and wonder if maybe that couple, unlike the couple down the road, maybe that couple prayed either A, harder, or B, they prayed the right words? Right.
They named it and claimed it. The other people were like, God, if it's your will, do this. But these people were like, you are healed. In the name of Jesus, you are healed. And so it worked. Because
or maybe it's the other way around. Maybe
they said the right magical spell.
Abracadabra.
It's basically what it is.
It's the other way around. Maybe the people down the road said, God, you are healed. And God's like, don't be so...
God's like, no, you're not. I can see you. You're not healed.
And then this couple was like, God, if it's your will. And he's like, since you were so humble, I'll go ahead and do this. So it could go both ways, I guess.
Yeah, again...
Not to make light of the situation, maybe it was a miracle, a Christmas miracle.
It's great either way. We can just be happy that it happened. And we can give God credit.
Who cares?
If you believe in God, it's a God thing. It doesn't... our petty squabbles over whether or not it was a petitioning to God that changed his mind, or if it was just in his time he did that, you can thank God, or you can thank, sheer coincidence or whatever. Either way, it's a great thing. Let's shut up and be happy about it.
Some people buy into human will, or like attitude can change like your physical outcome and stuff like that. You know, who knows? Who knows?
Yep.
I'm not completely against somebody being so completely positive or whatever that they can physically alter themselves. I mean, people with depression, it affects them physically. It breaks them down physically. So why can't it have a reverse result?
Yeah.
I don't know either side of it. I'll just go ahead and say, that might be a God thing. Who knows? And I am very happy for this family. I'm absolutely hate seeing people with cancer. Not that it's like, oh, they're gross, I don't want to see them. I just hate
seeing them.
Seeing
Every time I'm walking down the street and I see a bald person, I'm like, ew, do you have cancer? Don't touch me.
No, it's like 100 times worse for me, like thinking of a kid having cancer, because I'm like, I do not know how that would affect me personally if one of my kids had cancer.
Or if you as a child had cancer, and knowing that you had so much more to give to the world.
Yeah. A guy that I was at my reunion, he has a 6-year-old boy who has a brain tumor that is going through treatment. I'm like, I don't know how I would deal with that. I would be a freaking basket case if my kid had a brain tumor and I had no control over it. I had no effect of the outcome. It's just either a miracle or chemo or whatever is going to fix it, or nothing. I have no control of this. I would not be able to hold up at all, I don't think. And so I'm very happy for this kid, I guess.
Yeah, that's awesome. And as I've said before, no matter what your belief is, be you Christian, Buddhist, Hindu, atheist, agnostic, whatever, no matter what, if you walk up to a person who's going through a hard time and say the Lord works everything for his own good, or the Lord works in mysterious ways, or everything works together for the glory of God, you're an asshole. Sorry. Anyway,
Basically saying God chose you to die.
Yep. The Lord works in mysterious ways, and mysteriously, he murdered your child. So I want to go into, I think this is taken from a comedian, I don't remember who, or even if, but I want to go into my place of employment and just fuck some shit up. Just start tearing the place apart, and they'll be like, man, Dan he works in mysterious ways, you know? He's good. He's an all-loving, all good employee, and we love him to death. We'll sing his praises, but he works in mysterious ways sometimes. Anyway, this is why we have to focus on the negative things on these news shows, because it feels a lot darker when you start saying dark things about really happy stories.
Yeah, we have our ways of bringing these joyous moments back to our level of darkness.
Like I said, it's really more of a Monday morning main episode conversation in discussing theology, not a poke fun at the news type of discussion. But I wanted to bring a little bit of light cheeriness, and that's the closest we can get. Mall Santas are dying or whittling away to nothing. See what I did there? That was very the Washington Post of me. But mall Santas are whittling away to nothing. 10-year-old boys are dressing up as women and dancing for men for money. What else did we cover here?
We covered androgynous Santa Claus. You can't forget androgynous
Androgynous Claus? You mean father human or father person?
Yes. We talked about Hillary relating to the 8-year-old not class president, not because she's a woman.
Of course. We talked about Colorado shit. Anyway, all that said,
Colorado shit.
All that said, let's give some teasers for what they're going to get in the after party if they tune in there. I've got a couple stories. Again, Craig, don't give away the whole story in your freaking headline teaser. Lonely parrot goes shopping online with Alexa while owners are out. I probably gave away too much. Roger Stone admits spreading lies on InfoWars. Surprise, surprise. I've got Elon Musk. Elon Musk's new boring company faced questions over SpaceX financial ties. And I think that's it for me. What do you got? Oh, wait, no. I got one more. Pete Davidson, he's coming back up
in
here.
The news again?
Yeah, he's back in the news for suicidal reasons, but go ahead with your stuff.
Oh, wow. So, rap music is taking another hit, internationally at least, and one country in particular. A certain world leader is weighing in on the effects of rap music.
Is it Kim Jong-un?
No, actually.
Okay.
It's
Go ahead.
Putin. Putin is weighing in on the effects of rap music.
Now I'm intrigued. I might go join the Downers Club.
Right. Pigeons are being used for smuggling.
Oh, we've got some good bird stories.
Yeah, I know. I heard your parrot one, and I was like, oh, that ties right into my story. And then also, Alec Baldwin is back in the news, praising Donald Trump for all his accolades.
Of course. All right.
So
that all sounds.
I want to read. This one's going to probably give it away, but I want to at least read the headline just to give people kind of an idea of what's going on. Alec Baldwin tweeted that Trump is punishment for slavery and slaughtering of Native Americans. So this is our karma. We get what we paid for. We get Trump.
I would say we get what we pay for. We get Alec Baldwin. Somebody needs to take Alec Baldwin's Twitter away from him. I'll just say that. Ironically. All right. All that said, it sounds like it's going to be a fun after party. It'll probably go longer than intended, but it'll be a good time.
Always.
So, we always do. Even though.
Why don't we just start intending that it's going to be longer? Then we won't go.
I intended for this to be shorter, and this has gone way longer than last week. But thank you guys for sticking through the test of endurance, and hopefully you will stick around for the after party. If you are not a member of the Downers Club, if you aren't familiar with what that is, it's how this show stays going, getting bigger and better. And I also have a big announcement to possibly discuss this week in the after party. If not, it'll be next week. But only the Downers Club members get to hear the big juicy announcements for plans for the show. So if you want to find out about that, if you want to hear about what all we have going on in the world that we're going to rant about, go join the Downers Club at patreon.com/the system is down. For as little as almost nothing, $5 a month, and you'll get weekly bonus episodes of the show, video and audio, multiple. We're picking it up. We're picking up steam here shortly too. So go check that out. Patreon.com/the system is down. And until next week.
That is literally 16 cents a day. 16 cents a day.
That's right. Until next week. Oh, before I wrap this up, I gotta say, oh, and one more thing. Martha down the street got a new rice cooker. I'm going to play this out here, not with our typical Jeb send-off. I'm going to play it out with a Christmas song that will put you all in the Christmas spirit. It's a song that I wrote, and I think you'll enjoy it very much. But, so, with all that said, until next week, are you ready for this?
Stay comfortable.
Until next week.
Question.
Have fun.
Oh.
No one's going down the chimney this year. Fewer presents than severely last year. No ho-ho and no one that's roasted and no tear. Scuffing up the shingles, stinking up the town out here. Burn the stockings and put up the Yule logs. Tell your children the truth about Santa Claus. More importantly, just shut down all the malls. Wake me up when everyone is merrily appalled. 'Cause I'm taking a holiday from the jolly days. This holiday season, this Christmas Eve will be committing commercial treason. I don't need a reason, I'm just so sick of it all. All the boys need the toys to be happy. Tell me what's the point? Get away from it all. All the girls need the next new thing to think they got anything at all. So call me a sadist, I'm just jolly days this holiday season. This Christmas Eve will be committing commercial treason. I don't need a reason. I'm just so sick of it all the boys need the toys to be happy, happy. Tell me what's the point? Get away from it all the girls need the next new thing to think they got anything at all. So call me a sadist, I'm just out of patience for this generation, making everything about what it's not. So fa la la la, leave me alone while I power shopping. Power shopping. I'm just so sick of it all.